I was just a wee little boy in history class in 6th grade, our teacher taught us about this thing called mAnIfEST dEsTiNy. And then there was this picture of like an angel with like a bunch of wagons everywhere, and they were like all moving towards like something, and I had no idea what the fuck he was talking about. So we're gonna find out today. It all started once the colonies gained their independence from Great Britain, and they realized that there was just a bunch of unclaimed, unsettled Western land out there. I mean, if you don't count the natives already living there. Anyway, so they just started going out on this land, settling it, very peacefully. There was absolutely no violence whatsoever. Now, the first bit of land that the USA ever expanded into was the Louisiana Purchase, and they basically bought it from that fun-sized French dude in Europe, and he didn't even want it because he was kind of focused on other things, and yeah, he just basically sold it to us for like $15 million. So yeah, the U.S. basically just goes into this land, maybe commits some genocide along the way, stuff happens. It's fine. The next major amount of land that the U.S. ever claimed and settled was Oregon. Now, originally they were like jointly occupying it with the British, and eventually the joint occupation agreement just kind of didn't make much sense because the Americans outnumbered the British significantly, and so both sides just agreed to split it along the 49th parallel, which made the British happy because they maintained good economic relations with the Americans, and made the Americans happy because they got more land. Next, under President James K. Polk, the U.S. would declare war on Mexico in order to seize the California territory as well as Texas. And yeah, they defeated them pretty easily. And yeah, the U.S. basically annexed all of the California territory alongside Texas, and they did agree to pay Mexico like $15 million in reparations so that they would shut up and keep trading with them and stuff. But yeah, Mexico got completely owned in this war. This was a major victory for the Americans. Alaska was the final major territory that the USA got, and basically they didn't really fight any wars or anything. They just kind of bought it from the Russians, who needed the money to fight this war against the Ottomans and the British and the French. And they didn't want to govern Alaska, and they didn't want it falling into the hands of the British, and they didn't want the British to just outright conquer it. And so they sold it to America for $7.2 million, which was probably one of the worst real estate deals in Russian history, because there was so much more resources in Alaska than they ever knew or ever exploited, and America made back their money like many times over. And yeah, this is a very major purchase in American history. Now, to end this video, we're gonna go over some more miscellaneous purchases in American history, purchases that nobody really cares about. So yeah, first we have the Gadsden Purchase, which was bought from Mexico in the 1850s, and basically they needed it to build some railroad or something, like the Transcontinental Railroad, and like the terrain was too rocky up north, and they needed like some land down south to build it. So they bought this land from Mexico so that they can build their little railroad. Next was Florida, which the U.S. basically wanted to get control over the Mississippi River so they would have more control over trade, and they wanted to kick the Spanish settlers out, and yeah, they got Florida. Next was the Red River Basin Cession and the Webster-Ashburn Treaties, which basically saw Britain cede a bunch of land in the northern United States, and like Minnesota and Maine and like the Red River Basin and stuff. Yeah, Hawaii was also annexed in the 1890s to prevent it from falling into the hands of the Japanese Empire, which the USA didn't really like. And finally, we have the Spanish-American War, fought between Spain and America, and basically this saw America completely destroy the Spanish. They got absolutely fucking shit on, And yeah, we gained like the Philippines, which would eventually become independent after a while. And we got Puerto Rico, which we kept, and we got Cuba that we let go. And yeah, we got some other territories too, like Guam, but nobody really gives a shit about those. So it's